continuing.
Okay, so there's two sayings I want you to remember when we start this. The first is at Bag-in-Bund, Ireland was lost in one, and the second is in 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. How does that relate to Ireland in any way? The potato. So there are three stages of Irish cooking: Proto-Norman, Post-Norman, Post-Columbian. Post-Columbian is the kind you see today. Proto-Norman made transitions from.
Wait a second. I thought we were just gonna make wine. We're gonna have to learn stuff. I was just
if you don't want to be poisoned, yes.
I like the history. I like the history.
If I don't want to be poisoned, go for it. I don't want to be poisoned. Tell me why.
Okay, so anyway, I was just saying basically this mead is from the Proto-Normans time, which is still the Middle Ages, so I want to clarify that era. But anyway, parent advisory warning. If you make alcohol wrong, you do have the chance of being poisoned. It will create.
But I mean, technically, isn't alcohol poison?
Yes, I guess, but
it's like you said that very
methyl alcohol. So methyl alcohol is really poison.
Yeah. We have two methods of sterilization today. Generally, a mead is not boiled, but this mead is.
It's not
now, what? In addition, we are going to do second fold security, if you will. We will be doing what you do in standard brewing, which is pre-sterilization. So you can tell I'm more lucid this time. We're going to take a pot. This is my popcorn pot, but today it is my sterilization.
Okay. I thought I would make a little bit more meat than normal.
I
mean, more something. Usually I break out the small pot, but
yeah, I got a credit card.
Break out the big pot
by accident yesterday. That shows.
Here, let me show you what I've got here. So this is my normal brew kettle. Let me raise the camera a little bit. This is a 6-gallon. What do you call it? Bucket?
A ton. I think you can use too.
And it's got the little bubbler on.
No, it's not ton.
But I didn't have time to empty it out, so I'm gonna have to drink like 3 gallons here.
Hey, Sancha.
And I've got, I don't know, a bunch of these bottles to bottle it up. But this is what I make normally. I make ginger turmeric mead. I learned how to make Jamaican ginger beer in the Caribbean, and I changed it by, instead of using sugar, I use honey.
I got the
out of the way here,
just so you know.
So you can see I don't mess around.
Neither do I. Oh, wait. I can compete.
I should have showed you guys. This right here is my honey. I got 56 pounds of honey here.
Oh my God.
How much are we making?
We're making just basically an herbed up mead. It's very simple. This is, you probably can't get any simpler mead.
So like a friend of mine's a beekeeper, and so I get a bucket of honey every year from him.
Yeah, most brewmasters are like, you what? It takes how long? You know.
And then let's see, what was the ingredients? I should probably cut and paste it into the chat, but we got
my honey is store bought because
other tips. Dried elderflowers.
Yep.
Irish moss.
Yeah, Irish moss, by the way, is a way of clarification. If you got clarification tablets at the brew store, you're good.
Oh, so you could get the Irish moss tablets also.
Yes. Okay. You can just get, or whittling any kind of this is a clarification agent, which actually for the way we're doing it is not necessary.
So what's that word you're saying? Clarification?
Yep, clarification. So often,
please clarify what clarification is.
Yeah, think of a beer bottle as a graveyard of dead yeast, and you have all those corpses floating around in the brew. Now you want to cremate those corpses with your clarification, so your beer is nice and clear. Otherwise, you'll have a really, mushy beer with stuff in it, which some cultures do that, and they like it. Ancient Egypt, Africa, and
so the grain itself, you like, whatever you have
I'm
in
not
there.
using any grain for this.
Well, I'm
so-
just saying, or the bits or whatever is in there. It's
So
Correct.
the word you're using is clarification, to make clear?
Clarification to
Okay, okay.
okay. So I
As in
have
clarified butter, where means you remove the milk solid. That's why it's called clarified butter.
Yep, ghee.
So I have a really cool local, it's called Hobby Homebrew, like 3 blocks from my house. And I've known it's been there because I go like, once a year and buy a few little things for my turmeric ginger brew.
Yeah.
But I went over there, and because of the last couple of years, their business is booming. They're shipping all over, like everywhere. And they had a warehouse full of stuff, and they were busy. It was amazing. So Hobby Homebrew, he apologized because the smallest bag of Irish moss was this big bag. And he's like, you're probably only going to need like an ounce, but all I've got is a pound. And then there was another apology from me because I heard we're doing Irish something or other. And the only yeast I could get was Nottingham. I think I should
kick him
be,
out.
huh?
We have to kick him out.
I know, I was just like, now maybe there's a little bit of redeeming factor. It was made in Austria. So it's like
Fair
really
enough.
So, but yeah, like what I actually use, I use champagne yeast for my brew. So before we get in here, I want to show you guys.
I'm using baker's yeast, man.
This is 6 months.
I'm using baker's yeast, so don't even feel bad.
Can you guys see inside there? Look how golden that is.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful.
That's a ginger turmeric. And I do it for medicine. Of course, everybody says everything they drink is for medicine.
Yeah,
I do it
absolutely.
for,
all my several
pain
gallons.
relief. I got chronic pain, and ginger and turmeric are really, really good pain relief.
This, you gotta see how impressive my yeast is. Look, Laura, look how expensive it is.
Oh, I got that. That's just baker's yeast.
Yeah, that's what I'm using.
Oh, well, I've got that in the fridge. I keep that all the time around.
Yeah,
for
you
baking
can use
bread.
this. Honestly, the original recipe calls for ale dregs or ale barm, but I'm using baker's yeast.
All right, look at that. There's my ginger turmeric.
Yeah, this is a very
And
basic.
I didn't filter it out.
baby's
If you could
first
see little
mead
bits
kind
of ginger in it.
Yeah, this
Wow.
this is like baby's first mead, you know.
All right, let's baby it up. So
All right, so safety first. I'm going to run the water.
Well, I don't know. I saw you drink a glass of something, so I don't think safety first happened.
Okay, I'm going to fill this up with water. Now you don't have to do cold water, but I do because it looks prettier. And that's the most important thing.
Now, one thing is if you have tap water that is high in chlorine, you definitely want to let the water set out to let the chlorine dissipate, because chlorine, of course, will kill the yeast.
This, however, is not for the yeast. What I'm filling up with water here is for sterilization.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to get myself some spring water. I'll let you out in a minute, buddy. I'm going to get some spring water for that, which is en route. Now, spoon, big spoon.
We've got a question. Can
no,
you
you
sterilize
cannot.
with vinegar?
I don't think you can because that has bacteria in it, which is the thing that makes the problem in the first place.
All right.
Vinegar
Are you
is
sterilizing the
alcohol.
pot and then
Yeah. You don't want to make more vinegar. You're trying to avoid making vinegar.
Yeah. Yeah, doing alcohol wrong will make vinegar. Let me let the dog out. Okay, run free. Your name is
I
not
think the
Willie.
show might progressively get worse and worse if I keep drinking it.
Yeah, you cannot sanitize with vinegar. That's like No, that's a horrible idea. That's like asking,
Yeah,
can
I
I
made the
sanitize the
mistake. My
diarrhea?
first batch of brew, I used tap water and it never brewed because of the
Chlorine.
chlorine. So
Yeah,
so
I don't
first
use
thing,
it
we're just
except for my brother's
getting
day water.
water to, is it just to sterilize the pot or what is it for sterilizing?
This is for sterilizing our instruments. I need
Got it.
measuring cup, spoon, tongs. Tongs I use to grab.
So what kind of instruments do I need to pull out?
So you need tongs, big spoon, measuring cups, and I have I'm just gonna show it to you because I don't know what it's called, but it's like coney thing. Oh, come on. Oh, here it is. This
Funnel.
funnel. That's right. I called it coney thing.
And the reason you're sterilizing here, I mean, it's a question. Is this because there's wild yeast are flying around in the air someplace and you don't want them to get into your product?
This is just what I do for every single brew with no exception. This is just a preliminary step. But we have double measures because this mead boils like you have very, very little chance of making vinegar or dying. So we're gonna put it on the fire till it boils.
I like the
Until
not
then,
dying part. Well, I also like the not making vinegar part, but
yeah. They're both like so I have honey. I have a hybrid because I have no choice.
so
I
in
have
the
wild
pot
flower.
here, you said I need the funnel.
Yeah, funnel. The coney thing.
All right, the funnel and then tongs.
Yep, the tongs are to grab the funnel. It's very complicated.
So has anybody ever taken a pair of tongs out and not tested to see if they work?
Oh, you have to do the ring dance, like.
I mean, are you even human if you don't like do the double click to see if they work?
Did
I do a whole- I do a
anybody
whole
ever
dance
have
with
the tongs where if they're pointed in the wrong direction, they don't open?
Yeah,
They're so annoying. I hate them.
but I mean, if you guys prefer, I suppose it's up to you if you just want to grab into the boiling water of that funnel and just.
So what else do I have to put in there, Ryan?
That's it.
Oh, maybe I shouldn't have I could have probably sterilized it with no water. Just like put it on the pan and make it hot.
Yeah, you can do that. I prefer water, so we're just gonna let it boil. Until then, I guess I can take questiones.
But so you want to just explain the process, what we're going to go through?
Sure. So the process is, well, we have to let that boil. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take some water, and as the recipe says, we are going to let it, and we're going to mix in some mead. We're going to mix in some honey, not mead. We're going to mix in some honey.
But not when it's boiling. You just want it warm kind of deal?
No, you want it boiling. You want a rolling boil.
Okay.
And then we're going to throw in our herbs and let them sit and let the flavor soak in. And I'm kind of building this from 2 recipes, so I'm not sure.
Can I
how long
use the same water that I'm boiling this in?
No.
So
Everyone's like, I don't understand why everyone's like, here's this shortcut. Like, it's specifically with food here, I've noticed when I've watched the episodes.
So I'm gonna need a tongs to take the tongs out.
Yeah, and then you're gonna need to use the tongs to grab the funnel. And then you put that in the when we're ready, you're going to put that in the carboy and pull in and wait till it's cool. And then you're gonna put in the yeast, and there's no measurements for yeast. Honestly, half a packet to a whole packet will probably be fine. I've still not figured out. What's up?
To make how much?
This will make a gallon.
Okay.
But you can adjust the scales as needed.
I usually actually only use 1 packet of champagne yeast for my 5 gallons of ginger brew, but I also.
This only sits 3 days though. That's why you need more.
Right. I also saved the dregs of the last batch, so it's already got bacteria in it. They call that a ginger bug. So
yeah, ginger bug. That's correct. I use that to make
Always try to save the old batch.
yes, sodas and sarsaparillas and things. I use that for it.
Now, do you ever save the stuff from this?
Sometimes, but I'm on limited resources, so I
This
don't.
is like
get to
having
all.
a sourdough starter. It's all the same principle.
Yeah.
Fermentation.
So then we need a strainer to strain out the moss and stuff.
Nope.
No?
You would just dip it in if you're using moss or
I guess when you go to bottle it, then you strain it.
when you go into primary, you're not going to do any straining now. Honestly, you can just have the yeast at the bottom and it won't affect the rest of the brew.
So you're just basically making like a tea of these flavors.
Yep. And then you add yeast. Tea and alcohol are just the same thing. One ingredient different.
So basically it's a flavor, a sugar, and a bacteria.
Yeah, you need a sugar with nutrients in order to have the yeast feed. It works very much on the same biological principles as all that.
Okay. But you have to
If I ate
sterilize
sugar
stuff so
and
you don't
nothing
end up
else.
with the wrong bacteria.
Yeah, no, it's not that you end up. It just doesn't have sufficient nutrients. You can do this for molasses. Like I will show you what I mean. So this is my brew I made rather recently. This is
That looks horrible.
it's been brewing for 2 days, fermenting for only 2 days. But
I
you
mean,
can see
it looks like it's got tons and tons of bits and goop in it, but it's Irish moss, right?
this is not Irish moss now. This is
Okay.
my porter. Oh,
Now, when you pour it out, do you drink like with all the bits in it, or
no,
drain it out?
those aren't bits. Those will filter off over time.
It settles to the bottom? Like on my ginger brew, it always settles to the bottom.
Yeah,
don't
it
use
settles to
much
the bottom.
filtration.
I put the clarification tablet, but you got to understand that brew has been there for 2 days. That's it.
Oh, okay. So the clarification tablet or the Irish moss actually makes it settle to the bottom better.
Correct. But you can see that's working on fermentation, and the reason why is it has grain and molasses. If I use just molasses, though, I could get a weaker brew, but I could get a brew. If I use just sugar, I would have a harder time.
So it's actually using the sugar from the grains then also.
Yeah, but generally, something you need fermentable sugars. You can't just use straight sugar. It will never work.
Well, I do use straight sugar for my ginger beer.
You use like just straight cane sugar?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
Nothing else.
And yeast.
Yeah, but weird.
So basically make a ginger tea, add the
Yeah.
sugar to, and then I actually try not to put the yeast when it's super hot, because I always thought it would kill the yeast if the water is super hot, but I didn't. And then if I just let it brew for like 3 to 5 days, it's more like a soda. And if I do like a couple weeks, it progressively gets mellower and mellower.
Yeah, that's correct. This one will get mellower when you chill it over time. It does sometimes explode, like champagne style.
Oh yeah. I made the mistake of bottling it too early, and it still was bubbling and blew up the bottle.
Yeah, that happens. I've never done that, but I've heard horror stories.
So I like buy it, I don't know. This is from one of the stores. It's a
Pumpkin cider.
sparkling pumpkin cider. This bottle explodes really easy.
Yeah, it can do that.
What is this one? Solid. This big thick bottles. I've never had one of these explode.
That's why champagne bottles are so thick.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
I'll buy these ones, which are also really thick.
Carboys are themselves really thick.
Yeah.
Or like this batch, I was trying to see how long I could let it brew, and it brewed into like a nice ginger flavored champagne, and then it started becoming more and more beer tasting. It was interesting.
Yeah. This will come out almost like a honey soda with an alcoholic tint.
All right. My water's boiling. That's just to sterilize, and you said we dump this out and then.
Yeah, my
Then
water's starting
should I
to boil.
use my
too.
water that I've had, like, dissipating chlorine for the next batch, right? Because we don't want to kill the.
Yeah, that's correct. So I would just, oh, come on.
I actually
Ah.
learned from some friends from Asia. What they would do is they would bring water to a boil and then they would leave it setting out on
That's
the
what I'm
counter to dissipate chlorine. They said it was quicker if you
Yeah, it
brought the
can
water
be.
to a boil first, but I thought maybe that was more of a habit of killing bacteria.
Yeah, that would work. So, what you're gonna need for the next part is soft water. Is what it's called. So
Let me dump this out first and put.
working on that. I'm still getting that there.
Now,
I'm trying
one problem with my funnel is I use it for my beer so much, it's actually got a slight yellow tint because I use turmeric. So I
Gotcha.
don't think it'll ever
I would
become
not- I
permanently
would
clean.
probably not use that for anything but turmeric-based products at that point. So my delivery is thinking I want regular bottle caps, and I'm like, you want this? Oh, so I'm not going to be here for this last part, but you want a strainer at the end, and you're gonna, like, after 3 days, you're gonna strain it into bottles. You're gonna siphon it. That's the word. You're gonna siphon it into bottles, and you're gonna let it sit. And you're done. I didn't have a mead ready for this, but that's what you're gonna do. You're just gonna put it in a bottle, cap it up.
Now you don't have to siphon it into bottles. You could just be dipping.
I
it
no, I
in
guess
your-
you don't, but the flavor improves with the good chill.
Oh, okay. So, all right. So I put no, that's only a half gallon of water. So I need to put a gallon of water in.
Yeah, this would be a gallon of
This
water.
is the water I let dissipate with the chlorine.
It's gonna boil off. I'm gonna start with the honey because that's what I got right now. How much does it say again?
Oh, the rest, we don't have a recipe. We just have ingredients.
Okay, so I think it's 1/4 part honey to water.
It just comes down to, I guess, how sweet you want it, right?
It's meant to come out very sweet, like candy, like kind of like primitive candy.
My honey, my bucket of honey here is a little bit crystallized because I had it out in the garage. But
I think it's 2 cups, if I recall. That would make sense, at least, right? Or
yeah, that's about what I put in.
yeah, let's do 2 cups. We decide.
I'm not going to measure it exactly. I'm just going to put spoonfuls in here.
I'm gonna measure it because
Well, mine's not
like
liquid.
my
Mine's
magic
solid.
honey stick. You know what? I need to get a magic honey stick.
So,
And they really are.
is there
called
any
magic
way we
sticks.
can screw this up? So, what do you think of things you can do to screw it up? Of course, use
Um,
water with chlorine.
Well, one example I can think of is trying to sterilize it with vinegar, for example. That would be.
How
one of
about like the kitchen supply stores have the sterilizing liquid that they use in restaurants?
I would not.
Also, I
trust
think
it.
they have tablets also. if you
Yeah, I
need
would
it.
not trust it. I don't trust that weird fairy magic.
Weird fairy magic. So you can't. So the only thing you trust is actually bringing it to a boil.
Yeah, and it's cheap and easy using boiling.
Yep. No weird fairy magic for us.
I really like to know that you don't even need a special type of yeast. You can just use.
No, fairy magic sounds very un-Irish.
Yeah.
Oh, you just
No,
put-
the goal of being Irish is to be skeptical of fairy magic while having it all around.
just like saying there is fairy magic everywhere, but I'm gonna not allow it to take over my life.
Correct.
So what are you doing? You're just putting a cup of honey into your pot of a gallon of water.
Yep. I want a
think
little
I'm making
over
mine
2
too
cups,
sweet because I'm
but I don't think
definitely
it's a
putting
big
more in
deal.
the cup.
Yeah, I want a little over 2 cups. I don't think that's a big deal. I need my salt water. because you got to mix it in and you got to stir it with the magic spoon. But you're gonna wait a little bit. Wait for it to like.
Anytime I've made honey mead, I basically would just make
You
a,
can put it in now.
a really
You can put it in
sweet,
now.
a really sweet tea.
Correct.
and
Yeah. Water
just let it
first,
sit.
then honey. Water first, then honey.
So Ryan, your honey, there's no specification whether it has to be raw or
Nope.
pasteurized.
If
or
you do want to make it raw, you just need to do more skimming. So we're going to boil it for a while until all the scum comes up the top, and we're going to take that off.
Okay.
Once we do that,
Actually, raw would be a waste because you're killing the bacteria in the raw honey by heating it up.
yeah. Your
Someone's
your
paying
goal is-
extra for the raw honey when you're gonna boil it.
Yep. Because you want this boiled until it is lang, which is to say a rolling boil.
Is that more Irish?
No. This is a mix of a generic medieval recipe and a specifically Irish recipe. The herbs are Irish.
This honey is so good.
No, I meant the word. What'd you say?
Lang, no. The thing is, nobody knows what that word is or where it came from. It's just in the recipe, and it's like everyone is like, "What is lang?"
And that means rolling boil.
Maybe. All I know is rolling boil works, so I assume yes.
I just want to eat this whole 5-gallon bucket of honey.
I'm with you, bro.
And tell us again where you got the recipe.
The recipe is a mix of two recipes. I'd just say hours of scouring online. I found a bunch of obscure recipes from ancient Roman wines to like maple syrup beers that are like pre-Columbian. Like
Well, you did share that recipe of like George Washington's brew that
was for you specifically, or that was not meant to be posted.
And George
You
Washington
want me to
also
take it off then?
distilled. Washington also distilled whiskey.
Yes, he did. He
So,
did. Yeah, I was hoping you would help me personally with that. That was what I was asking.
So when I get this to a rolling boil, then we're gonna add all these flavors. Well, you said
I'm a little bit
sauce isn't
behind
really
you,
a
though.
flavor; it's a clarification.
Yeah, although the heather tips and flowers are flavor. Now, like I said,
So should I put the whole 2 ounces in for each one? Because I mean,
yeah, let's do 2 ounces.
I mean, it'll be really strong, but I probably won't make the same batch of stuff again. And once you open it up, it starts losing its.
I would say don't go for overly strong. You just want, you want good flavor. Now I have my ginseng, I have my sarsaparilla, and I have my cherry bark, none of which I need.
So do you think dried elderberries and heather tips 2 ounces is too much? Look how much it is.
I think it's too much. But even if you have that, though, I think our goal should be to deal with our batch on its terms, not necessarily because, oh, I got a ton, so let me put the whole bag in.
So here, I'll actually measure it, see how much it is here. So this is the heather tip.
So this is not what
it's about a cup. Cup of, well, no.
He's going more.
About 2 cups.
Okay, here are my heather tips.
Yeah, that's the same bag I have.
Yeah, but I'm not using a bunch but then again, I probably know I'll reuse them.
So
And
how much
this
did I use? Like
another recipe.
half of it, or?
I would just say use what's going to enhance the flavor and not overpower it.
So, or I would recommend going less rather than more, because if it's a real strong flavor, it might be off-putting to you.
So
Whereas-
Oh, heather tips, I have no idea, but the other one is elderflowers. I know elderflowers are super delicate.
Yeah, heather tips. I still think less is more. Generally, I would think of it as hops. What would you do if these were hops in a beer?
So we still don't know how much to put in then, huh?
Yeah, but yeah, I would think of them like hops, honestly.
And do I put it in as soon as it starts rolling, boiling, or let?
Yeah,
So I'm just gonna put a quarter of this bag, which is about a half a cup. What do you think of that? Or no, that's a lot still.
yeah. I think this one's a little more touch and go.
I'm
Because
just gonna put. Well, if I just want a little flavor, because I have no idea what heather tips taste like and whether I'll like it.
you know what? I'm just gonna eat one of these and let you know.
Okay, good idea.
But smell it or taste it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna just full on eat one of these.
Doesn't seem to have any taste.
Oh,
It smells like moss.
Okay.
Or it barely has a smell. So what I'm gonna do is just put a quarter cup of it in there, and that's it. And then I'll taste it after it's brewed.
That would be a good idea. I don't think we need a ton of this.
How much is a
The
quarter
meat,
cup?
the meat of meat recipe should have.
This whole bag is 2 cups, so a quarter cup. Oh wait, do I put it in one?
Honestly, I think we'd probably be in tablespoon territory for herbs because they're meant again to modify the flavor and enhance it, not overpower it.
So a quarter cup looks like, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 tablespoons is all.
I would say 2. 2 tablespoons sounds reasonable to me.
I should know more about measurements.
We should, but I'm not.
Tablespoon is 15 milliliters.
Yeah. Metric system is the
The
thing.
teaspoon is 5, so 5 teaspoons. 3 teaspoons make a tablespoon.
I checked the tablespoon. A quarter cup is 3 tablespoons.
Yeah.
That by volume.
No, they have a smell.
It's very
flour.
slight, but
Yeah, it's there. One moment.
definitely no. I've made elderflower wine, and you need a lot of that. It's very delicate.
Now, based on my own qualia, I think more can be afforded specifically for heather tips.
If you've had COVID, you may not be able to smell them. Smell the herbs.
I don't have COVID.
For people who have had COVID, maybe.
Oh, okay. They don't taste like anything to me, though. They smell like something. They don't taste like anything.
Well, that's why they need to be infused with the water and stuff, I think.
Oh man, the elderflowers smell phenomenal, though.
Yeah.
Like, but I've made both elderberry wine and elderflower wine, and I much prefer the elderflower.
Yeah, elderberries are not what we want here. They had them at the brew shop. I'm like, this is so close, but no cigar. So I have someone going somewhere for me, and they're bringing.
Can I add this flavor in before it starts boiling?
Yeah, absolutely. Not the elderflowers and stuff. You should add the honey before it starts boiling.
Oh yeah, I've got the honey in there, but I meant the.
Oh no! You want to put that in towards the end of the process.
Got it. So you're not like brewing a tea?
I mean, you are, but you don't want to. The thing is, it'll come.
The more you brew it, the weaker the flavor is.
Yeah. You want the flavor in there. You want to put it towards the end. And the thing is, scum is going to rise, and you're probably going to take off the herbs if you're doing it early in the boil. So that's why you would want to avoid that.
I guess I should have put the lid on. It probably would have boiled a little quicker.
No. You're fine. These things take time, and that's all there is to it.
It's like slow sipping time.
Yeah. Like we got a lot of time to answer that.
So have you ever made a batch that was just absolute horrible?
No. Hey, batch of mead or batch period?
Batch period.
Yes, I did. I made a what was it? I made a pumpkin beer and it was too bitter. So I tried it again. This was the hardest thing I ever did. And then it was too mushy. So then I had to do it again. It was still too mushy. So finally I figured I need clarification tablets. And then voila, colonial
Instead
pumpkin.
of clarification tablets, could you have just strained it?
No, I tried that and it didn't work.
Yeah, so you'd still have like basically almost like a soup. So clarification tablet turns it into like a broth.
Yeah.
It causes all the bits to settle to the
And
bottom.
they used to use egg whites for clarification, I think, before they had other methods.
Yeah. Correct.
I just realized I shouldn't drink too much. I'm gonna go do a street cleanup with my Rotary Club.
Well, you can do that with drink.
I mean, I've only drank a little bit. A shot.
Yeah, I've done communities. It's fine.
All right.
But then again, I live in a largely Irish neighborhood. Italians who also understand. So we've got
My honey is slow simmering now.
yeah, I'm unfortunately behind you. Like I said, I'm waiting for my salt water. But I have the honey ready, but again, I just have to mix it in. So we're waiting. So what you're gonna do next though?
What happens if you use just tap water?
I don't even know, but
Because I mean, I use tap water, but I let it set overnight.
it might be fine. I don't know.
That's what I always used. But also, our city doesn't use chlorine. They use reverse osmosis method of some sort. So there's not much.
Okay.
Very low chlorine in the water. So.
Yeah, that might work
Right.
then. That would be different. You know, you just want soft water, they call it.
So you can see mine's actually not boiling as much as foaming.
Yeah, you want that. You want to scrape that off with a spoon. Get rid of that. Get rid of that foam.
What is it?
It's scum. It's dead bees and it's dead hive parts. Get rid of that.
So let's see if this.
Yeah, you want to get.
I don't think this will pick it up. A little bit. Let me find a better.
Yeah, you. So this is why I said big
Oh, here
spoon.
it is.
I meant big solid spoon.
I got my little
Take it up
my
solid part.
tea dipper.
That can work too. Yeah, I got that.
I mean, part of it is my honey has not been, it's just the local honey, so it has a lot more.
Oh yeah, it's fine. You just keep taking that off.
It hasn't been like run through.
No, you're good. You're good. Don't worry about it. You just keep taking it off. Just keep taking it off.
Yeah, there's actually quite a bit of stuff.
Oh yeah, it's gonna take a while, even for clarified
And
ones.
you
it
get
takes
that
a
with the
while.
store-bought honey?
Yeah, you do. Just not as much. So it's actually more of a pain because it's not like hello. It's more like hi. Yeah, that's my honey impression.
I don't get it.
Like very loud and boisterous, like all the scum, as opposed to very subtle, slowly coming through. You know.
Okay.
That's what I meant. So
Actually,
yeah, you just keep doing that until there's no more of it. And like I said, I'll join you when soft water arrives.
well, I guess if it's, bee bits and dirt and stuff.
And dirt, yeah, and wax, yeah.
It smells so good though.
Yep. Have to hell out of this.
I really like it sweet, so I put quite a bit.
I love it sweet too. Like I don't understand the barbarians who want like the dry meat. I'm like, you have problems, sir.
Let's see here what it takes.
Help I cannot give you.
Now that it's all melted, I'm gonna taste it. It's actually not that sweet.
It will be. I mean, the way I do it comes out very sweet, and it's wonderful.
I thought I put a lot of honey in there, and it's not. I mean,
Yeah.
it's sweet, but not overpowering.
Oh no, it won't be overpowering. It'll be like a honey soda, but with alcohol.
But also, or you're using a lot more water. He did 2 cups of honey to a gallon of water.
This is a gallon.
Oh, okay, so you are making a gallon.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Because this is a 4-gallon pot.
I got one of those, but it's mostly just where I keep my brew ingredients.
So, can I mean, like when I make tea, I like brewing it when the water is not quite boiling.
Yeah, you wanna add, what are you asking, I guess?
How soon can I start adding the stuff?
Towards the end, think of it like hops. I know you wanna add them, but it's not time yet.
Yeah. Now I know to add the Irish moss right to the end. What's the point of boiling it so much?
You're getting off the honey scum.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, don't ask me, it's the traditions of my ancestors.
I guess in the
The same
past
reason-
when I made
it's
it,
the
I
same
wasn't so
reason for
picky. I was
wearing
like,
brew paint
yeah,
and fighting naked.
some
Go with it.
foam, so what?
Yeah, in the old days, they had not just pieces of bees, whole bees in their honey.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
I mean, this was run through a solar
You roofie the bees and then you
Still?
take all their honey, basically.
still to separate the honey and the wax and
Yep.
but-
Honey, roofie bees and take all their stuff.
So I don't know if we went through the whole process. So basically bring it to a rolling boil. What'd you call that?
Until it is lang, as the original recipe says.
Okay, so until it's not lazy, it's lang.
I guess. I don't
Okay,
know.
and
It's
then
yes.
you add your flavors, your yeast.
Yeast comes at the end because you'll kill it if it's too hot.
Okay, so you put your flavors in, let it cool down, but still be warm, and then add your yeast.
Correct. Yeah.
So I
yeah. You
usually,
want
when I did it, I would just because I always made a big batch, I would walk away and come back like an hour later. And if it was like warm, I'd put a drop on my skin. And if it was warm, but not hot, then I'd add
I touch the bottle, and if I can't touch it, it's too hot.
yeah, basically. And then when do you add the moss?
At the end, like when you're right after you put in the yeast, whoop, or
And then you let it set for 3 days minimum.
and then you bottle it, and
You bottle
time
it,
to
you
get drunk.
strain it into a bottle.
Yep, you siphon it, and then as they say in Toto's Africa, time to get drunk.
And that's it.
I do
one
like to
coil
let
in.
it cool because that improves the flavor. I'd say give it a week to cool if you want the best possible mead.
So minimum 3 days, but best the minimum of a week.
In the 3 days it has to ferment, then give it 3 days to cool in the fridge. It will not be.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see what you mean. You filter it into the bottles and then let it cool for a few days.
In the fridge, yeah, and then you'll get a wonderful mead that you can cook with.
All right, so I'm turned it down almost off because it's slow simmering.
Yep.
I've got my heather tips. I just put 1/4 cup, which is 3 tablespoons.
I like that. Let's go with that. I still have heather tips in my mouth.
And then I think I'm going to do a 1/2 cup of the elderflowers because anytime I've made elder wine, it took a lot to get much flavor.
Yeah, then maybe, but remember the mead is very sweet because it's made of, honey, which is just sweet.
But I mean, however you mix it is your preference of taste.
Correct. Yeah, correct. But
So-
traditionally mead is sweet, nectar of the gods.
But I mean, like the flavors in here.
Oh, these are traditional herbs to the Isle.
And then,
Isles, actually.
I mean, how much Irish moss do I put? Like a couple cups?
Yeah, I'd say, yeah, you just need enough. That's a clarification agent. That's not flavor.
Right. Now they actually, when I went to the hobby homebrew, they asked me if I wanted the tablets. but
Yeah,
they
you
didn't
can
have
take the
any.
tablets.
So the
Ah,
tablets, so the tablets are basically Irish moss made into a tablet, or is it another agent?
I'm not sure, but all you need is any kind of clarification agent. This is just a clarification agent. That's no flavor.
All right. And the clarification agent is to just make all the bits settle to the bottom.
Correct.
Doesn't it also mostly settle to the bottom just over time also?
Oh, it will not do that. It will not. No.
Okay. How long
mean,
do I have
it's
to let this
6
simmer? Or
months.
Also, the dead yeast.
Yeah. That's another big factor.
Do I want to keep simmering this or just turn it off and put the
You
lid
need
on?
to wait until there's absolutely zero like scum on the top.
Okay, so it actually makes a really good tea. So,
Yeah, when there's zero scum, then
oh, it smells
Let
so
it-
good.
yes.
It's like, I wonder if you could make a quick syrup for pancakes like this.
I don't know. I'd probably go for the traditional style of like shrove pancakes followed by like a native syrup with like sweetened with maple sugar. But I don't think honey, it's too sweet. I tried it. It's not
Honey is too sweet.
too sweet for pancakes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, maple
Right.
syrup's not as sweet as honey.
No, it's not. But it's a great sugar.
So I actually, that was a mistake to turn the temperature down because it quit boiling.
Yep, turn it back up. It's okay. It'll go.
But you just want it at a slow roll.
Yeah. You want it slow roll, like yeah, like
So.
the thing.
All right.
Is this amusing to you, or?
Well, yeah, I mean, we're just watching a pot boil.
Yeah.
Just-
So I guess this is the part where I would take questions again.
I have a question.
Okay.
I've always been curious in these brewing processes. People talk about, the bottle blows up because there's still fermentation taking place. So how do you avoid that happening?
I've never had it happen to me. So I wouldn't know, but I think just follow the instructions.
I think it's probably the only time it happened to me was I used that, cheap bottle.
Yeah,
I didn't
just
use the one. I reused the bottle from the store and didn't use a thick glass bottle.
yeah.
So when you opened your thick glass bottle that had your brew in it, did it have effervescence? Like, did it?
Oh, I've had one of them where I opened it up and it just started, like doing the whole champagne thing where it was boiling over.
Yeah, I had that happen. Oh, I had that happen to me. And I don't know. I had that happen to me with this recipe. I brought my friend over. I'm like, I got mead. Yeah. So I was like, watch this. And I tried to how you pop open the sodas like on with your hand. I did that. And
You probably shook it up beforehand then.
I think I did. And it popped like a champagne. And I was standing on my carpet. So I'm like, no. I run for the fridge, but it was too late. I had already been wrecked.
Yeah, I mean, what I would do is basically when I normally do this, I just bring it to a boil and then shut it off and let it sit for an hour.
You would do that for standard beer or wine, but not wine. Actually, I don't think you necessarily have to do any cooking at all. For this, you want to keep it Lang because that's your secondary sanitation method. That's the trad style.
I did a little research on Lang, and I think more than a rolling fast boil, I think what you're looking for is a simmer to create the foam that you can skim, similar to making a chicken broth.
Yeah.
With the chicken bones, that you don't want to boil that really hard because that then incorporates all the things that you're trying to skim off, incorporates it back in. Lang is a Scottish or Old English term for long, like in Old Lang Syne, which
I'm starting to get more. I thought I skimmed off. I did skim off all the foam.
The Scots are the ones who confuse everything. Yeah, that would explain it.
But the song Old Lang Syne literally means
That old long
basically
time. It's in the Scots language. Yeah.
old long time, old long since. So yeah.
But see,
Yeah, or
I
old.
skimmed
Now,
off.
horse got more scum now.
I skimmed
Yeah.
off all of it, and if you look at it now, I don't know if that scum is from the
It doesn't matter what's from. Remove it.
but I mean
It's hard to, how are you going to skim that without skimming your herbs out of there, or?
right, around the edge, I still have some herbs, but in the center, I still have that scum. So
You got to get rid of the scum in the center. It's the only way.
and see, I just have a little what is it, a tea strainer?
Yeah.
So this is why I said we should wait until the end to add the herbs. Object lesson.
Say that again.
This is why I said we should wait till the end to add herbs.
Well, I had skimmed off all of it before.
So if you add the herbs later, then they would be that would be eliminated in the clarification process.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the scum that's
Incorporated
coming
scum.
now is actually from the herbs, I think.
I think you're right.
Maybe.
Because, well, at least I thought I skimmed everything off before.
Oh, well then perhaps just keep skimming. It'll work itself out. It's magic.
Yeah, people have been doing this for thousands of years without
Yeah.
knowing any science at all, so it's not
Yeah,
rocket
exactly.
science.
Exactly.
Well,
Exactly.
this is medieval mead.
Not
So,
that medieval
the
people
more
are
science
stupid.
we have, the more we're not following old-timey way.
Yeah. Just the bad spirits. Let's get them out of there.
So right now, all the herbs are in the water. None of them are on the surface. It's doing a really slow, like you can, basically it's mixing itself. It's going so slow. It's mixing everything.
Perfect.
It's not really boiling or even simmering. Simmering, you have like a simmer on the top.
I can see it's moving by convection in the pan, basically.
Right.
Yep, that's what you
So
want.
it's like moving all the stuff on its
That's what
own.
you want.
There's a little bit, I guess, a little bit still on the surface. And
Yeah.
but I feel like this time I scooped a little of the herbs and this.
It's okay. It's okay.
But I think that's everything. It's all settled in there now.
So now you wait for it to cool.
All right.
I'll be joining you soon, like I said.
All right, turn it off, let it cool, and then that's when you're adding the yeast.
Yep. So now you just let it cool.
So, all right. Any questions? Because basically the process now is, I don't know how long you would wait, but you'd wait until it's just warm to the touch.
Correct. That's exactly how long I wait.
Because you don't want that. If it's too hot, it'll kill the yeast.
That's right. And if
Correct.
it's not warm
I
enough, the
love-
yeast won't grow.
If it's not warm enough, yeah, the yeast will freeze. It's very delicate.
I really love that. I really love that Ryan said he just uses the bread yeast. Just like, so I mean, technically, could you just save, when you do the clarification, could you just save the scum or the goop on the bottom of that batch for the next one?
I guess you could, but I think it's supposed to be ale barm specifically.
Yeah, and also the yeast may be dead. So
Yeah.
Right, that's true. I mean, I don't know how you could save it and keep the yeast
yeah, so
well alive.
I mean, yeast is so inexpensive in the whole scheme of things. It's probably
Yeah.
not worth trying to save it.
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking in medieval times, they would save the old stuff to make the new batch.
Well, that's
Yep.
true.
And they probably just make a new batch immediately. So, it didn't go bad. You wouldn't let it sit around and say, hey, I'm going to make a batch in a month. It's like,
Exactly.
as soon as you finished one batch, as soon as you drank it down to the bottom where you have that junk on the bottom, you just make a fresh batch and
Exactly.
put it in the same container.
Exactly.
So doesn't yeast stop doing its thing, or the fermentation process stops once its food source is depleted? I mean, I know there's kind of
Yeah,
a,
it's life.
It's a
natural.
combination of the food sources. It's eaten all of the sugar, and or especially not so much in beer and mead, but in wine, the alcohol content gets to a certain level, it kills the yeast.
Yep. It becomes.
That's
too-
why it will only go to a certain. That's why you can only generate so much alcohol in wine by fermentation, because eventually the alcohol gets high enough that it kills the yeast, and then it doesn't go any further. If you want more alcohol, then you have to go to
Distilling time.
distillation is the
But
next
it's
step.
also
Yeah.
temperature, because I made this last batch. I made it really sweet, and then over winter I kept it cool out in the garage, and it took probably 4 months before it ate all the sugar.
Yeah, I mean, my other meat is like 6 months. It won't be done for another 2.
Did you have like a valve on it to release the CO2?
I have a big hole in my.
I mean, the easiest thing, if you're just making a gallon, back in the day we used to do milk jug wine, and you just make a gallon and you put a balloon on the top with a hole in it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I let the
You
CO2
let it out.
that's the poor man's valve. Yeah.
But here's the valve on my. It's it's got a little bubbler.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
got
a
a
good
little
one.
trap.
That's a good
That's
one.
like your trap under your sink or in your toilet.
Yep.
So basically, I
Mine
watch
have
that
big holes.
bubbler, and when it stops bubbling, it's ate all the sugar.
Yep. Mine have big hole though.
Or if you do the gallon one,
That
balloon
also
goes-
answers my earlier question. How do you know that the fermentation's finished? Well, that's one of the ways. When it stops bubbling, you can assume that okay, it's not fermenting anymore.
Yeah, if you
Correct.
just make a gallon one where you put the balloon on, the balloon like falls over, and you're like, oh, it's done.
My stuff
There
is
you
here.
go. So
So,
yeah, that's a good. That makes sense.
all right. Does anybody have any final questions
All
for
right.
Ryan? And we'll wrap up, and then we can just have a general discussion afterwards.
Yeah, I
Remind
finally
me-
got my stuff here. I think.
Remind me to tell the molasses rum story.
I was just like,
All right, let's do this.
how I learned to make ginger brew in the Caribbean is they would say you fill up a couple of gallon jugs and then you bury them in the backyard. And so the temperature stays cool. And then, you come in, unbury it like 6 months later. That's the best way to. And they said the proper way to do it is bury it when you're completely drunk so you don't remember where it is.
Yeah, so I got my stuff now, so I can start on making the mead. I'm gonna heat up the water a little bit. I'm gonna add
Alright.
some things I already got
I'm
here.
gonna wrap up the recording. Brian, do you have any final?
I guess I'll just accept some final questions.
It just seems really simple.
Yeah,
You mix your soft water with honey.
yeah, I'm
and
going.
yeast, and then the flavor of your choice.
I'll do this later. It's
So
not
the
done.
question, can you, Or showed us the bottles that have what we call a bail on them, which holds the
Okay.
thing, or do you use screw tops, or do you actually use caps like on a soda pop cap?
I'll show you what I use.
So
I'll show you what I use.
I have bottles where it has a thing that puts a cap on it, like
I'm gonna
it
Yeah.
seals it.
have another bottle.
I have
Put-
those.
Does it put a cork in, or does it just put a top on it?
It's just like the regular beer or things like the pop off top. So it's a throwaway.
Okay, so it's
cap,
putting
I
on a
will show
regular cap.
or I
this.
use these.
These.
These ones are really expensive. So the ones I give to people, I use the ones that you seal.
Yeah, I don't give gifts. I'm the Grinch. I just receive.
Well, I make 6 gallons at a time. I mean, you can't keep. Well, I probably could drink most.
Oh
of it.
yeah, fair enough. I do give people out my beer because I want them to let me know if it's good, and I'm like, should I sell this? Yeah or
Just
no?
like, no. All right.
Bootlegger.
Any I mean, the thing is quite literally, you can make it out of anything that has a sugar in it, which is pretty much anything.
Yeah, that's why people make fruit wines and stuff like that, because they make it out of berries or
Yeah,
any
I have
kind
a
of
fruit
fruit.
wine plan. I'm gonna be doing a strawberry mead medieval like soon, just for me though. Sorry.
It takes a lot of strawberries, though.
I mean, I'm
I
just
tried
gonna
to
go
make
like
one. I made a blueberry one,
no, they're melty.
but the strawberry one, like, it takes a lot to get any flavor.
Produce
Not only
junction.
that, people making
Produce
fruit
junction.
wines quite often, they add sugar.
Yep.
Oh yeah, you have to. So
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
Any final questions, tidbits? I'm gonna wrap up the recording here. And thank you, Ryan, for sharing your ideas, thoughts, and I'm actually I didn't drink too much of that, but it's strong even after 6 months. Batch I just popped. So
Excellent.